Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody here. How are we? How are we? How are we? I hope we're well. Apologies for being late. The gym session overran. We didn't think it would. Took longer to get the session done today, but we're back. We're back for Cozy Sundays. And what a cozy Sunday it's going to be. Let me know if you're in here. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Let me see who's in here. Harvey Severton says, busted water pipe this time or what? Come on. I was only 10 minutes late. 10 minutes late is not too bad. 10 minutes late is not too bad. How are we though? How is everyone? I mean, we got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to talk about today. Hell of a lot to talk about. But yes, without further ado, let's tick over to this very important screen. If I click here, what can people see? Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. Hi, Louis. How are we? How are we? Hello, 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 hello. Now, look at this. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know what you want me to say. But we appear in the first 5 teams when you type in League One. Just saying, I'm going to let that sit there. I'm going to let that sit there. Just want to say thanks to you and everyone on the pod. Saved your last few episodes from my marathon today. You got me around it. Wow, well done, Mark. Hope you got the time you wanted. And I hope you enjoyed it, most importantly. I've been in my my running era. I was trying to train for a half marathon, but it's tough. It's tough. It's very tough. So fair play to you for doing a marathon. Looking good, says James F. Well, you know. What can you say? That's Gary Caldwell for you. That is Gary Caldwell for you. I mean, I could literally, I might just do the whole stream stood here staring at the top 5. 3 hours 40 is brilliant, Mark. Well done. You should be proud of yourself. That's a really, really good time. Amazing. I'm gonna give a round of applause, Mark. That's great. That's really, really good. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. This, well, I mean, just look at some of the teams we're above. And I'll get into the Shrewsbury game. I will get into the Shrewsbury game because obviously we missed the Tea Time Thursdays because, you know, I was at the game. And we're going to get into the Shrewsbury game, but just let people soak this in a little bit. Let people just soak it in because this is delightful. It's really, really, really lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Look at the green apples. Look at the grey apples. The people with the flag on Thursday was the Gary out gag. Hey, Harvey, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to get myself into any trouble. But you're spot on. You're spot on. But that's fine. I mean, I hope those people are accepting humble pie and just living with it. Because I think it takes a lot for those kind of people to swallow their pride a little bit. Hi, Dorrans, how are you? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I think it takes a lot for people that want something so badly to happen, and then when it doesn't, and it actually does a complete 360. I think it's a hard thing for those people to swallow. So, and rightly so. Rightly so. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but Exeter looking good. Playoff now a target. Look, it's hard. It's so hard to say because, you know, 10 games in is a pretty good indicator normally of, you know, who's going to do well, who isn't going to do well, all that sort of malarkey. But I just look at the teams below. I mean, if you look at the first sort of 5 or 6 below, Lincoln, great side. Barnsley, great side. Stockport were okay, but not amazing when I went to watch them. Hi, John. I'm a huge Huddersfield fan living in Cully, and it is one of those rare games coming up on Saturday when I want City to lose, do you think you can turn my lot over? Honestly, the way we're playing at the moment, I feel like we could turn anyone over. I genuinely think there's only a couple of teams in this division that are like better than us on our day. I really do believe that. I don't whether we show it enough this season or not will be a completely different matter. But I really, really, really think we are a team capable of being in this top 6 on our day. And we've shown that now for the last 2 seasons, not just this season. Even last season at the start, we showed that we could compete at the top end of this division. I just hope that we don't sort of peter off like we did. We've definitely got a better squad than we did last season as well. On the whole, we lost some good players. We lost Trevitt, who was a massive loss, but we didn't have him for pretty much the whole entire second half anyway. So, yeah, I mean, in answer to your question, I think we will have the playoffs as like our max target. I think that's where we will, if we can be at our best for a consistent amount of time, that's where we'll be, I believe. Evening X actually going up. Still can't believe Joe Whitworth so good for 5'10". 5'9", I believe he is. I don't know, though. I don't know. My wife say something different online. But are they actually going up, Gen 2? And welcome to the stream, Gen 2. Big ups to you. I couldn't possibly say. I ain't going to get too carried away. Got to hope everyone stays fit, but squad is much more stacked this year to cover injuries. I agree, Dorrans, but also we have got some really key players still out injured. If you look at Vinny, Dimmy, it's pretty much our 2 strongest left-sided players, bar Theko, out injured. Hi, John, big Palace fan here. I'm glad to see Whitworth adapting to men's football and doing well for you lot. Honestly, I really, really, really love him. And you have got a fantastic keeper on your hands. Whether he will be good enough to play in the Premier League, I guess only time will tell. But for me, personally, the only thing that is stopping Joe Whitworth being a regular goalkeeper in the Premier League every single week in the next couple of seasons is his height. Well, that is literally it. I think at this level you can get away with it. You don't have to be as big because the quality of shot isn't as good, and the quality of delivery isn't as good. But at the higher levels, I think he can get caught out. Joe Whitworth is the GOAT of the season so far. Absolutely. I think his match ratings are an absolute joke. Genuinely, like, if you haven't, go on any of the football apps that you have and just go look at his match ratings. I don't think he's gone below a 7 all season. Can you imagine if Exeter go up and Plymouth go down? Honestly, Mark, I'd probably cry, to be honest. I would probably cry. But I mean, I know I'm excited. Let me be excited, but I am in jest, saying it in jest, because I just can't see us sustaining it. I just can't see how our budget would compete. And obviously, like, freak things do happen. Like if you look at like the Leicester scenario, then winning the Premier League, for example. But I just can't see how we're going to be able to consistently stay at the top end of this division. Because, I mean, Wickham turned Peterborough over in 9 minutes, was it? The guy scored a hat-trick in, that Kone bloke. So the league is all over the place. Anyone can genuinely beat anyone, which is exciting, but also not great for, like, predictability. Whitworth has pockets of Prem. More than pockets, mate. It's got satchels of Prem. Just, his height is just such a big factor for me, I think. Exeter could be playing Ipswich next year, says Tom Blazer. Probably not. Do you know what? There's so many teams in the Premier League that are really, really poor that Ipswich might stay up. I watched Wolves play today. They were unlucky to lose in the end, but I mean, at times it was just, they didn't have a clue. It just felt like they didn't have a clue what was going on. Just giving the ball back. I know it's Man City. I know it's the best team in the world, but I think it's offside. I think Bernardo Silva is definitely impeding the goalkeeper. When the ball is halfway in towards the box, Jose Sarr is still having to push him out of the way. Anyway, no one cares about the Premier. Well, I don't anyway, but I was watching it. Stats don't lie, says chill, relaxing videos. Absolutely, stats don't lie. Red Square was on Exeter Insta a day after the game. Really? Wow. The height is holding him back a bit, but I'm hoping he's able to adapt and find techniques that allow him to get around it. I mean, if you have a defence good enough in front of him, and it sounds stupid, but the performances our defence are putting in now, they are limiting the number of shots that, well, not even really limiting to be fair, but limiting they didn't against Shrewsbury particularly well, although, people are very complimentary of the defensive performance. I thought Crammer was great, but we did give away a lot of really easy opportunities, and there's a reason why Joe Whitworth got man of the match. So you have to question whether the defence actually played that well. But don't get me wrong, they weren't bad. Crammer was the best player on the pitch by a country mile. But it just felt a little bit last ditchy at times. I'd rather it not be like that. But I think if he's got a defence in front of him that can stop shots and like limit him to have to, just have to play with his feet, and his distribution is unbelievable. It's the best in League One that I've seen so far. There hasn't been a keeper that can play as comfortably on the ball. I sent it you on Instagram. Okay, I'll have a look, Harvey. I'll have a look. Before your time, but I remember the Mexico keeper from the 90s, Jorge Campos. He was only 5'6/7" and a great keeper. Yeah, they definitely can. Honestly, don't get me wrong. And obviously, Joe Whitworth is a fantastic keeper, and he will play in the Championship very comfortably for large parts of his career, I would imagine. And he has the ability, distribution-wise and technique-wise and everything. He's good enough to play in the Prem, I think. He's way too good for League One. I don't know how he compares to some Championship goalkeepers, but I would be very interested to see him. I mean, and let's not beat you around the bush. I know that's my favourite saying, but he has played twice in the Premier League, so he's obviously not a mug. And also, didn't Palace just offer him a 5-year deal or something stupid before he came to us, or a long deal? So, these teams aren't offering these players deals because, they're nice players. There's obviously a fantastic goalkeeper who has probably got the potential to play in the Prem. But like I said, you've got to find ways to manage the uncontrollable factors, which are his height. So, yeah, I agree, Benteke. If he finds techniques to sort of mitigate his height's downfalls, then maybe he'll play in the Prem. But a lot of the talk about him, a lot of the talk this week has been about him, which is rightly so. But I mean, just the team in general, the spirit was in that game. That is such an Exeter City game to go on and lose. In recent years, we would have gone on and lost that game, 100%, because I feel as though after our goal in the first half, we were pretty poor. Let Shrewsbury get back into the game. And yeah, I felt as though, and this is where Gary deserves the credit, because we survived to half time, which is, the classic cliche, if we can get in at 1-0 up, then maybe we can make some changes. But that's exactly what happened. We got in, scraped in at half time at 1-0, and then the changes made a massive difference. I mean, Aitchison to McGuinness was the goal. Obviously a massive factor, and that's what everyone will talk about. But the difference that Josh McGuinness made and the difference that Jack Aitchison made was, exceptional. Did Jordan Shipley and Tom Bayliss play for Shrewsbury? I believe so, Dorrans. Tom Bayliss definitely did. I think Shipley's there now, isn't he? I think Jordan Shipley's there now. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, he is there now, Jordan Shipley. I think he made me cry. This is what I was talking about the other day at the game. I think we saw him. We must have seen him coming out of the changing room, and obviously he made me cry at Wembley. So I think I said to my dad, I think that's the guy who scored a worldie against us at Wembley. I think it is him. Good player. I mean, he must be injured, because him and, was it Bennett? They were both sort of not in kit or anything. So I think they must be both sort of injured or not playing. But yeah, this guy made me cry, because as soon as his goal went in at Wembley, it was over, I think, for me in my head. But yeah, I mean, what we'll do is we'll discuss some of the results from this week, because there was a few quite interesting results. And I think a lot went our way. So like, obviously Wrexham winning isn't, Huddersfield winning isn't, but like, you know, actually, you know what? I thought I saw someone on Twitter say they went our way, but they really didn't, to be honest. Northampton beating Orient's not really in our favour, but I guess Birmingham beating Lincoln because like Lincoln are near us. Barnsley, Blackpool, not really. This is a really interesting result because I thought, okay, this will be the game that Wickham are like really, really tested. I think I remember looking at their latest fixtures or the last fixtures they had. Like they had played Crawley. They only beat Crawley 1-0, and like Crawley are really struggling. And they're like conceding, leaking goals like it's nothing. 2-2 draw at Barnsley is a decent result, and then scraping a win at Rovers, who are really struggling. Scraping a win at Cambridge, I know we did the same thing, but they're sort of like doing really similar things to us, like scraping wins at places. Scraped a draw. So yeah, I mean, lost to Wrexham on the opening day, but that's not a terrible result. Beat Rotherham, so you know, on the basis of it, they've beaten some great sides, and they're finding ways to win, which is the most important thing. But this result really was like, whoa, okay, they've, you know, if you take away the sort of, if you cover the hat trick in 9 minutes, because that's just absolutely nuts. But yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. That really has changed a lot of my perspective on what could happen this season. Saw your beautiful face on Thursday in the crowd. Hope you're keeping well. Thank you, JP. I wouldn't call it beautiful, but I appreciate the compliment. Question: do you find Thursday's performance good? Because I thought you boys were all right, but if you played a half decent side, then you would have been punished. Yeah, absolutely, JP. We would have. I said that at halftime, and I said it against Cambridge. I said it against you, and there's another game. Maybe the Wigan one, although we didn't win at Wigan. I felt as though had we played better sides, if we had played a Peterborough or if we had played a Wrexham or a Birmingham, we would have lost the game by several. So yeah, I think you're right. I didn't leave thinking that was a good performance. I left thinking that was a good result. Don't get me wrong, we had players that played well: Crammer, Whitworth, McGuinness, Aitchison. Even Kamari Doyle I thought was unfortunate to be taken off. Because he offers us something that I don't think anyone else in the team offers, which is this ability to turn and just run at people. But yeah, I think the result sort of covered up patches of the performance. The top two running away with it won't be a bad thing, taking points off your rival on a regular basis. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I don't know why. I don't know. There's no surprise Birmingham are running away with it, in my opinion. I think it was always going to happen. I really, really think it was always going to happen. It's you know, when you spend silly amounts of money on a... Why can't I scroll down here? That's ridiculous. I've got to load it up again. When you spend the amounts of money you've spent on your team, you're always going to... I mean, they've lost one game. And I'm surprised they've even lost one, to be honest. So, yeah, I mean, these two... I can't see Wrexham staying there. I really can't. I know people might say they will, but I can't see... I think they'll drop off. I think someone like one of these boys, Bolton or Charlton, will pick up some decent form and they'll fly up. Crammer was next level. Doyle wasn't at the races in my opinion, but you boys were never going to lose. But a soft nerve it was because the Shrews were never going to score. I wouldn't say that though, JP. I really want to add that on another day, you probably go in at halftime winning. I mean, Whitworth pulls off a superb double save. Probably a bit unlucky to not get a penalty, although you know I'm never surprised by refereeing decisions anymore. I hate talking about the referees because I probably have to be careful what I say, but they are all genuinely crap. They're all terrible. There's not a good referee at this level. There isn't. There isn't a single good referee. I don't care what anyone tries to say on that matter. There isn't a good referee in League One level. And Thursday night was a prime example of that because the decisions kind of went our way. But even the ones where I thought, well, that's definitely a Shrewsbury, or that's definitely like our decision, went your way. Like it was like he was getting everything wrong on purpose. It was bizarre. But yeah, I mean, I think you should have given yourself more credit because against a weaker side or a team that's not maybe in form like we are, you'd probably go in at half-time level or even winning. Shrewsbury were playing like us on our bad run. Yeah. Do you think we need a more clinical striker that will get 50 goals a season? Can't see us staying in the playoffs with Ali and Josh. I mean, I really think that Josh is just that first goal is going to be it, and he'll hopefully come into some really good form. Again, I can't tell you for certain. Obviously, it would be ideal to have a guaranteed 15 goal a season striker, Lewis, but it is just not a realistic expectation. So long as we're filling those goals from other places, and at the moment, Kamari's scoring a lot of goals. The goals are sort of coming from different areas. It's okay. So long as we've got people scoring, that's the important thing. I don't think they all have to come from one striker. I think that's not an outdated way of thinking, but it's just like, if you have a 15 goal a season striker, you will get into the playoffs, or you will do this, or you'll do that. Well, if no one else scores, you probably won't. Also, was the clubs we love all our supporters post a dig at David, or would that help make it all about him? I don't think so. Shandy. I don't think so. Charlton battered us on Saturday, but we got a point. I generally don't know who's going to get top 6 this season. Birmingham have issues, but grind out the win. I agree, Wrexham will balls up. Yeah. I just think it's so hard and so... Like, I'm trying to think of the sides in recent years that have sort of done it. And when I say recent years, like I'm talking like Wolves. The Wolves side that were in League One and the Kenny Jackett. I think it was Kenny Jackett. Like, unbelievable side. Didn't they get like? Don't they still have the points tally for League One? So like, I don't think any of the sides are that kind of good. And yeah, like it is. This is why I really think League One's going to get a lot more coverage, or why it's good that it's getting more coverage, is because this is going to be such a ridiculous league this season. You cannot tell me these two, although they're playing well right now, are not guaranteed. They're not walking over teams. Birmingham kind of beat Lincoln comfortably on the weekend, but they're not walking through them. Like, it was still a pretty tight game for large parts from what I heard. Obviously, I haven't seen the game. So, like, I really don't think there's anyone... You know, I said at the start of the season, Birmingham will go unbeaten. And they haven't. So, it shows what I know. But yeah, I think it's incredibly tough to predict. I feel like I can't speak for certainty on the others. I think to Championship, League One, League Two, this is going to be the most unpredictable division, and that's why it's exciting, and it's good that it's getting some more TV coverage, in my opinion. Although the attendance on Thursday was sad to see, it was pretty depleted, and that's because of 8:00 Thursday night. It's on the telly. Why would you go? It's free. It was pretty cold. Like. It's so much easier to sit on your sofa and flick the telly on and watch it there. But yeah, it wasn't good. It kind of felt a little bit like a Papa John's game or the Bristol Street Motors game, which was sad, which was really sad. But let's talk about the Shrewsbury game. Excuse me. I want to talk about some of the players. Now, we're going to start with Shrewsbury. The reason why this team are going to struggle this season, and I'm telling you now, comfortably, I'm saying for certain, if they do not address this in January, this will be the reason they are struggling. These three. This lad had an absolute nightmare, number 6. And I feel bad because he's 19, he's young. It's not nice, but he just was not at the races. Was not good enough. Other defender, 5, not good enough. And I mean, we already knew about Nsiala. I said it on the build-up stream. He's not good enough. Those 3 are not good enough defenders to play at this level. Consistently, I feel. From what I saw that night. Obviously, they might have better games. They might have been low on confidence, whatever. I don't know. But those 3 were really not great. And I feel like it's kind of the only reason we won. These 2, Gilead, Benning, super. Really comfortable players at this level. Jordan Rossiter was great. Oh, I was really impressed by number 12. Evening Channel NEM, how are you? The midfield was great. Even this chap, really impressed with Castledine. Really impressed. And actually, I went with a friend who was like, wow, 19's decent. He's like, yeah, he's on loan for Chelsea. Marquis was okay. He didn't set the world alight, but he will score you goals this season. He is good enough to score goals at this level, and he will, if you can improve that back line, win you some games. Lloyd had a bit of a quiet game, I feel like, although I have again heard good things about George Lloyd. So yeah, I mean, the problems are pretty evident. I think Savin couldn't do much about the first goal, certainly. Second one, probably not either. Maybe can stop the ball across the box but I mean, even then, it's not on him. So there's definitely some good elements to Shrewsbury's side. I wasn't completely enough. He played some nice stuff. Yeah, Benning was decent. Castledine, I think that's how it's spelled. They raved about him, but I genuinely thought he did amazing until he got 20 yards within the goal and panicked. I don't understand the hype. Honestly, JP, I kind of agree with what you're saying. He's young, so he's a little bit panicky, bearing down on goal, and yeah, he wasted a shot on the edge of the area. It was pretty weak and didn't trouble Whitworth, but I'll be honest, for his age, he really held his own. A couple of nice little turns, and do you know what I feel like it is? This formation doesn't really suit him because these two, I think Gilead, yeah, he's not old, but he's getting on a bit, and Mal Benning as well. I don't know if they're the right kind of players to play in those positions. I feel like Gilead needs to be here and Benning needs to be here to offer Castledine support, so these two can play a little bit closer together. But these sort of like four, if you like, in attack, in attacking phase, where you got your wing backs high up and everyone's coming up the pitch, there was just no support for Castledine. There was just no. I felt like whenever he got it, it was just like, where do I go? I've got no options. But when you did have options out wide and Gilead and Benning got up, it causes problems, and you will cause teams They will cause teams problems. They looked a decent team, low on confidence. Absolutely, they will turn. They will surprise a few teams. 100%, they'll catch some teams off guard, which is why I'm even happy with the result, because I don't think we played as, like Gary said. We're at a 6 or 5 or 6 on his metric at a 10 that we can get to, and I thought we got away with it a little bit. Don't get me wrong, we in the second half we controlled the game really well in the end, but we got away with it a little bit, and they'll surprise a few. I'm sure we were linked with Marquis a few seasons ago when we were in League One. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He's a really good striker at this level who is willing to live in the south, and he's shown that with the teams he's played for. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we were interested in him. Channel. He's the same against us. Stockport looked so dangerous until he got to the box. Such a frustrating player, but I couldn't ever drop him. Yeah, I mean, do you know what? And this is going to probably sound ridiculous, so I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to anyway because it's just an opinion. I felt like he was just he's a similar player to Louis Barry, maybe not as quick, but really similar in terms of like nippy, hard to get the ball off of, really good technique. So obviously, a player on loan from a Prem side, like that's what they're very much like that. But I think Stockport play to Louis Barry's strengths. I'm not sure Shrewsbury play to Castledine's strengths. But he could be a Louis Barry style player. Maybe nowhere near as good. But it could be that kind of influence on the Shrewsbury side. I really feel like that. Fear for them though, struggled to score, not a big budget to strengthen. Yeah, and we're kind of in the same boat in January. We were lucky in January that we brought Woodsy in, and that we got a Woodsy that people had just given up on, and we managed to turn into a unbelievable side. I mean, what did we lose? Only 2 games in the second half of the season that he was in the side. So yeah, I agree. You've got to get so lucky in your recruitment in January if you want to keep yourself away from that drop zone and start. But you can do it. We showed last season. What did we go? 100 days without a win, and we turned it completely around. Finished on more points than we had the season before. So definitely doable. Up the City says Winspit. Hello, Winspit. How are you? How are you? How are you? Sorry, when I mentioned we, I meant Sunderland rather than Exeter. Oh, right, Sunderland. Okay. I would still stand by the fact that we were probably interested in him. More recently, maybe, rather than a few seasons back, like you said. But, like, in the last couple of seasons, because kind of was out of favour at Rovers, and I think he is a little bit of a Gary-type striker, to be honest. He's kind of a Josh McGuinness, but not as beefed up. He's not quick. He's just technically good, a little fox in the box. The Sunderland goal was a tad controversial today. Right, I haven't seen this, so actually, I'm going to change scene. Because I think we're all but done with the Exeter news. Let me try and... How can I find the Sunderland goal? Can someone link me to Sunderland goal? Would someone be able to do that? I know that's lazy, but I don't know where to... If someone's already seen it. Maybe I search on Twitter.
One goal and look.
Okay, what's happened here? Right. Hold on, I feel like the incident was before. Too far, haven't mentioned Super Louis.
Totally understand.
Oh, why is it? I don't want it to go on mute. Too far, haven't mentioned Super Louis Barry tonight. He's not even in the same breath as Louis. You going to Stockport or hate lad? I will be, yeah. I will be. That sounds aggressive. I meant it in a nice way. Don't worry, JP. You're all good. Obviously, Louis Barry is exceptional and is currently way better. I'm just saying he could have that similar influence on that Shrewsbury side. He's a great ball carrier, gets up the pitch quickly, is aggressive in his sort of like directness and stuff like that. Which I went to the Barnsley Stockport game, and that is kind of, I say all Louis Barry offers, but he's just incredibly quick and hard to get the ball off of, which, at this level is going to result in goals. At any level, it's going to result in goals. So, and I think Castledine has those features, similar features. I don't think he's as quick. I don't think he's as good with the ball at his feet, but he could have that kind of impact on the Shrewsbury side. I hope that makes sense for people listening. If it doesn't, just say. All right, let me try and watch this Sunderland goal. So he knocks it to the edge. The referee gets in the way. He's absolutely... Right, okay, so it's the referee getting in the way that's the problem. I mean, the Sunderland player's still done incredibly well. The Sunderland player has done amazingly well. Is it Bobby Madley? He's crap as well. But the players don't really kick up a fuss. Evening, John. City looking good? Absolutely, Jay. We are looking good. We're looking in absolute fine form. But we know football can change very quickly, so let's not get too carried away, is what I would say. That's so bad. And Bobby Madley's not even aware. Like, he hasn't got a clue. He's not half asleep. I mean, how Bobby Madley's refereeing in the Championship, how he's ever in the Prem is beyond me. But who is this 18? Because he does so well. That chip over the goal is a joke. Yeah, fair play. I mean, Bobby Madley's an absolute spoon, but... I mean, if you conceded that, you'd be absolutely furious. You'd be so angry. You'd be so angry. You'd be so angry. Now, I want to talk about one thing. And hopefully if I go... How can I show you guys? Right, here we go. If I change scene here. Sorry, chaps and chapettes, 1 second. If I go to live scene. If I go in here. Obviously, for those of you that are fans of the pod, and you're probably all fans of the pod if you're in here, you will know that we sent Joe Whitworth a tweet asking if we could be his friend, and it came from my account. It's game over. He liked the tweet and that was it. He liked the tweet and that was it. So he's either playing hard to get, which is absolutely fine. He can play hard to get. In fact, he probably deserves being hard to get. But I think friendship is maybe not on the cards right now. Maybe we need to work him into a friendship. But look, we can get there. We can get there. If anyone's got any tips on how we can make Joe Whitworth our friend, I'd love to know. I would absolutely love to know. Can't be as bad as Brett Huxtable. Well, I mean, that's a pretty extreme example, Shandy. Get him on the pod. I'd love to get him on the pod. I'd love to have him on the pod, but I just think he's got too much aura to be on the pod. Like, I mean, you know, I can't share it on stream because it'd get taken down again, but that flick he did, it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, I really wanted him to be like, yeah, we'll be mates with you all, and he'll come on the pod. But I think after that, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough cookie to break down. Tough cookie to break down. Right, let's talk about giving some tips on how to. Whoa, come on, JP, come on. No need for the heightism, mate. I'm messing. Ask his boss, JB. Well, I don't know the Crystal Palace manager like that. So sorry, Clownhoof. Get him a Happy Meal sorted. I mean, Shandy, that's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout at all. The League One refs were terrible, but champ refs aren't much better. So on this channel, NEM, all the refs are crap. And I you know what? Strike this channel down. Strike it. If the PMOGL, whatever the bloody hell they're called, or the Referees Association for the Football League are listening, you need to get better refs. You need to get better refs. You have to get better refs. It's embarrassing. It's so bad, and it's got to the point now where I'm just expecting them to be bad, and like there's no part of me that's like, oh, we're gonna have an okay referee today, and the game's gonna go swimmingly, and there's gonna be nothing contentious. Obviously, they're gonna make mistakes. They're human beings, but like for every decision to be borderline wrong in favour of us and against us, they got the biggest decision of the night was Ryan Wood's handball, and it went against Shrewsbury. This is a side that are struggling to pick up points. Nothing's going their way. And they could do with some decent officiating. How the referee didn't see that and just waved it on, I don't know. He stood about 3 yards away. His hand's out here. And then, you know, they say that all that bollocks about, it like balances out over the course of the season. It might not. It might not. It's complete and utter myth of a saying. And I use it quite often. I think, why am I saying that? Because it couldn't. You could just have terrible luck for the whole season, and that's the reason you go down. And people's livelihoods, people that work at that football club, jobs that will get lost because referees can't do their jobs correctly a lot of the time. And I'm all up for, you know, being sympathetic and understanding that, you know, mistakes happen here and there, but to consistently get decisions wrong on the level that they do at this level is embarrassing, to say the least. God, I went into a bit of a rant there. Sorry, guys. Would you accept VAR in League One? See, Channel AM, you've got me there, because I wouldn't. But not... I would for that perspective. For example, Shrewsbury should have had a penalty. They would have VAR'd it. They would have given it. In that sense, yes. Do I want it because you can't really celebrate a goal? I do really believe in that aspect of, like, I want to be able to celebrate by just, you know, I've looked at the lino, they have not given offside or a free kick or anything, so I know the goal stands. I don't have to worry in the back of my head, was he offside, was this person here, was he in the way? I can't be asked for all that. I like to just be able to celebrate and be raw in celebration and just enjoy it. But there's definitely pros and cons. Unbelievably hard job, says Clownhoof. I mean, it is a hard job. I'm not saying it's an easy job, but like, these people are choosing to do that. These people are choosing to be referees. So, like, no one's forcing you to be a referee. No, like, there's people that will do that job. I'm asking them to be a little bit more consistent. Destroy the Prem by all means, but don't touch lower leagues. Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I would say there is definitely ways it could make League One football better for the multitude of reasons I just listed there. And, you know, like the playoff final, for example, last season in League Two. Was it Crewe against Crawley? No. Yeah, it was Crewe against... Or was it a season? Yeah, it was Crewe against Crawley, I think. Anyway, one of the players went round the goalkeeper. One of the Crewe players went round the goalkeeper, went down, penalties given. And that is the biggest stage for that team of the season. There's no denying that. The playoff final. And it got overturned, and it was the right decision to overturn it. So in that instance, it got the right team promoted, and the right decision went the right way, and the team that went on to win might not have gone on to win if the right decision hadn't been given. So there's definitely ways in VAR could be good, but I just don't think it's good enough in this country yet. You'd want VAR, pardon? Don't you like the debates after celebrations? That shocked me. Well, I just said, JP, there's definitely some positives, definitely some negatives as well. If they could get it up to scratch how it is in some European countries like Spain, where it's just the crowd know what's going on, everyone knows what's going on, it's quick, it's incisive. In fact, the decision that they reached in the Man City Wolves game earlier today was quick. I liked how quick it was, but they still got the wrong decision, in my opinion. They then pulled up the rules on Sky Sports about what classifies as offside and X, Y, and Z. And almost every rule was exactly what had happened. The player was in the way. Was he obstructing his view? Maybe not in terms of like his height. Bernardo Silva is definitely not as tall as Jose Sarr, whatever his name is. But he was in the way. He had the goalkeeper had to push him out the way. He made an action on the goalkeeper, which is again one of the things that they class to be offside. So I mean, I just don't know how you can. All the rest must know those rules off the top of their head. They must go, right, okay, can I find one of these rules that applies here? Yep, about 4 of them do. Okay, it's offside. Then he goes to the screen, watches it, and then gives a goal. It's like, oh, it's crap. And Clowney's made a great point here. We spend half the time talking about the referees and not the actual football. And that's not how it should be. It's not how it should be. You can't watch Sky pre-post game anymore. I mean, but if that's the talking point, and that unfortunately that is the way it's going. That's the way it has been going for ages. Those are the talking points of footy: is how bad the referees are. And I tell you what, my dad might be watching right now. He might not be. God knows. But my dad is someone who's watched football for so long, and yet he doesn't. Every time we go, he's still like angry, and it lets the referee's decisions like influence his mood in the game. And I just think, why? You must turn up now every single week, knowing that more likely than not, this referee is going to be absolutely crap, and he's gonna get decisions wrong. I'm so far past the like, oh, can we get a good ref today? I'm just like, every ref is crap in this division. I haven't seen a good ref this season. There hasn't been a game where I've gone, referee had, I hadn't thought about the ref there. The referee had a good game. So I just don't let that part of it dictate the way I feel. If we play badly because the players have played badly, or if we lose the game, because the players have played badly, that upsets me. That gets to me, because it's like, right, there's something we can fix. But when we lose because the referee's given a terrible decision, or because the referee has been just consistently crap throughout the game, I feel as though that's something I can really easily get. It's not in my control. It's not in the club's control. It's not in Gary's control. It's not in the players. It's not in anybody's control. That referee has just given the wrong decision, or a multitude of wrong decisions. So I've really come to peace with the fact that if it's because of the ref that we lose, not to make excuses, because, you know, if you were good enough, you'd score 6, and that one goal that the referee's given away wouldn't matter. But if that is the main reason why you've lost, or that he gives a penalty that changes the way the game goes, I'm really at peace with that, and I'm so comfortable with the fact that all the refs are crap, so they're going to give wrong decisions. Quick, but still got the wrong decision. And you want VAR? Don't want my team to go any higher as Championship. I'll get VAR soon. Just stick the game live at the moment, not live for the VAR. Fair enough, JP. Discussion around the refs and VAR sells, though. It's naff to face it, but at the moment, that's what most people want to talk about. It brings opinions. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and look, we've just slipped into the debate now of talking about referees, which is frustrating in itself, because it's like, it is draining, and like that's another reason why it annoys me when my dad will, you know, be frustrated by a ref, because it's like, it's every week. we're in this position every single week, and we end up talking about the ref every single week. I know we don't give it much time or thought anymore, but you do just have to come to terms with the fact that at this level the referees are horrendous. And like I said, I've made my peace with it, and everyone in the chat is right. It's such a crap conversation, because they should not be the talking point of football. You know, they're not the talking point of any other sport that has officials. Like, I'm just trying to name one off the top of my head, like tennis. The officials are so, like, good at what they do. They've got great technology that helps them. It's used correctly. It's been implemented correctly. Why can't football be the same? Because it has such a bigger budget than these competitions and all these other sports. That's where I get frustrated. And I completely understand that, you know, the worst referees are going to filter down the divisions. That's fine. But these are still meant to be professionals. Like some of the best referees, you know, like League 2 footballers or League 1 footballers are some of the best footballers in the country by a long stretch. The referee should be the same, and it doesn't feel like that. Like, sometimes there is no difference between a referee that comes and referees a Sunday league game and some of these refs that are refereeing at League 1 and League 2. Maybe bar their fitness. Genuinely, the decisions are just terrible. And I think another big issue with refs is the fact that there's so many that have evidently just not played the game. Discussion around the refs and VAR. Sod this. Could we just look at some stately homes now? Yeah, we'll do the last 10 minutes. If you guys, we'll do a building review. We'll end on building reviews, because that's been a pretty heavy sort of 20 minutes there talking about referees. So if anyone's got a building, we do this at the end of every City stream, because if we just talked about football forever, we'd go absolutely insane. So if anyone's got any stately homes, any buildings, anything, anywhere around the world, preferably the UK, but anywhere around the world, and obviously don't be stupid and say Taj Mahal and things like that. Put them in the chat and we'll review them. Shandy, that's a good point. That's a great point. Love that, Shandy. Honestly, do you question the ref when you win? Honest answer, no. I think that's just part of the game. Yeah, 100. All the time after we win, I go, wow, we were lucky, or the ref was like so bad for us today. I'm really honest in that regard. And ask anyone that I speak to after football, my dad, my brother, anyone at Exeter City, I will speak to you, and I'll be completely honest with you. This is the last thing I'm saying on the refs, as we got some buildings coming in. I would be completely honest, like, wow, the referee was crap in our favour today, or wow, the referee was crap against us today. And that'll be it. That was all I'll say. But I'll be honest, if he's helped us out. SJP says Harvey's irritant. Right. Mont Saint Michel. Okay, right. Let's change to chatting. Right. Mont Saint Michel. Wow. Right, that's not real. That is not real. Okay, well, I think I found my favourite place. This is incredible. Tell Alfie to look up for Dimitri Mitchell. I've listened to your podcast, and some of the things he says about Dimitri are strong, so he has EPs and timestamps. I think Alfie needs to explain himself. What? Ref was awful for us on Saturday. Yeah, there you go, Joe Humphreys. I mean, don't get me started, because the refs are an absolute joke. And we've just had once this stream ends, go watch from about minute 40 or 30